Harley-Davidson dealerships are struggling to sell models that once defined the open road. As prices climb and innovation stalls, other brands are building better bikes, faster, cheaper, and more reliable. These 7 motorcycles are quietly taking over, and if Harley isn't careful, they'll be left in the dust. Number 7. BMW R18. It is unapologetically classic, intentionally massive, and overwhelmingly rooted in mechanical artistry. This cruiser is BMW's love letter to traditional American motorcycle culture, and it delivers a riding experience that feels like stepping into a sepia-toned postcard of motorcycling's golden age. At the heart of the R18 is an 1,800 cubic centimeter, air-cooled 2-cylinder boxer engine, the largest boxer BMW has ever produced. It churns out 91 horsepower and a robust 116 pound-feet of torque at just 3,000 revolutions per minute. That low-end grunt gives the R18 a deep, rumbling character that feels more V-twin than anything Harley currently offers. It's mated to a 6-speed transmission and a shaft drive that not only reduces maintenance, but adds to the mechanical aesthetic BMW is clearly proud to flaunt. Styling-wise, the R18 draws heavy inspiration from BMW's 1936 R5. The teardrop tank, double cradle frame, and slim silhouette give it a vintage elegance that somehow still looks modern. LED lighting is discreet, and the chrome finishes are reserved and tasteful. The result is a bike that looks both timeless and refreshing in an era where Harley's designs are starting to feel bloated and over-stylized. Riders often compare the handling of the R18 to American cruisers, but note its superior balance and frame rigidity. Even though it weighs in at a substantial 791 pounds, the R18 feels manageable on the road thanks to a low center of gravity and refined chassis geometry. You sit low, stretch forward to those wide bars, and settle into a relaxed position that begs for long-haul cruising. When it comes to ride quality and hardware, the R18 delivers premium specs across the board. It weighs 791 pounds, uses dual front 4-piston calipers with 300mm discs, and a single rear caliper for strong and reliable braking. Suspension is handled by 49mm telescopic forks up front, with 120mm of travel, and a cantilever monoshock in the rear offering 90mm of travel. This setup provides just the right balance between plush comfort and confident road feel, ideal for extended cruising. In terms of comfort and finish, the R18 exceeds expectations. The seat is wide and firm, the instrumentation is simple but elegant, and the build quality is unmistakably premium. You can feel the German engineering in every inch of the bike, from the click of the switchgear to the buttery clutch action. This is a cruiser built to last decades, not just until the next trade-in cycle. The R18 starts at a base price of $15,995, and for what you get, heritage styling, top-tier craftsmanship, and mechanical charisma, it's an incredible value. Harley-Davidson has nothing in its lineup that matches the R18's combination of engineering excellence and nostalgic authenticity. The R18 isn't just a bike, it's a statement, a declaration that heritage and progress are not mutually exclusive, and that a cruiser can still be soulful without being sluggish, vintage without being obsolete, and emotional without being excessive. If you thought a German bike was Harley's biggest threat, wait until you see the next motorcycle on this list. It's not just competing with Harley, it's rewriting the rules of what an American cruiser can be. Number 6. Honda Rebel Series. There was a time when Harley-Davidson had the beginner market locked down with the Street 500 and Street 750. Those machines offered an affordable way into the cruiser world and helped create lifelong brand loyalty. But that time is gone. Harley eliminated both of those models and in doing so abandoned an entire generation of potential riders. Honda saw the gap and filled it without hesitation, and they did so with a lineup that is now making waves across the entire cruiser segment. The Rebel series offers 3 distinct models that hit every price and experience level. The Rebel 300, Rebel 500, and Rebel 1100. The Rebel 300 starts around $5,000 and features a liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine displacing 286 cubic centimeters. It produces 27 horsepower and 19 pound-feet of torque, which is more than enough for beginners to learn on without being overwhelmed. The bike is light, responsive, and perfect for city riding or weekend cruising. Stepping up, the Rebel 500 retails at approximately $6,400. It comes with a 471 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine that makes 47 horsepower and 32 pound-feet of torque. It is a perfectly balanced middleweight cruiser, easy to manage for newer riders, yet capable enough to be a long-term companion. It offers smooth power delivery, manageable weight, and strong rider ergonomics. Then there's the Rebel 1100, Honda's answer to more experienced riders looking for serious cruiser performance without sacrificing reliability or style. With a price tag starting just under $10,000, it packs a parallel twin engine displacing 1,084 cubic centimeters, producing 86 horsepower and 72 pound-feet of torque. That power plant is derived from Honda's Africa Twin adventure bike but retuned for torque-heavy cruiser performance. The 1100 also features Honda's dual-clutch automatic transmission option, something unique in this segment, making it accessible for a wide range of riders. Across the Rebel lineup, Honda focused on creating cruisers that are not just functional but fun. The ergonomics are relaxed, the controls intuitive, and the design is clean and modern without being overly stylized. The Rebels maintain a classic look that appeals to cruiser purists, but they've got just enough edge to attract younger buyers looking for a bike that doesn't scream midlife crisis. These bikes are confidence-inspiring, easy to modify, and rock-solid dependable. In terms of build and handling, the Rebels hit the sweet spot. The Rebel 300 weighs in at 364 pounds, the Rebel 500 at just over 400 pounds, and the Rebel 1100 comes in at 487 pounds. Braking systems across the board are solid, with the 300 and 500 using single-disc brakes front and rear, while the 1100 steps it up with a dual-disc setup up front and a single disc at the rear. Suspension is handled by traditional telescopic forks at the front and twin shocks at the rear for the smaller models, while the 1100 gets a more advanced setup with a cartridge-style fork and piggyback rear shock for better damping and control. Honda may have revived the beginner segment, but the next bike didn't just compete. It declared war on the Sportster. We broke down the bikes Harley won't talk about because they can't beat them. If this is the kind of truth you want more of, hit subscribe and help us keep cutting through the noise. Number 5. Indian Scout. In a world where most manufacturers are chasing trends and forgetting their roots, one brand has managed to strike a nearly perfect balance between heritage and innovation. The Scout represents that balance. It embodies everything a modern American cruiser should be: powerful, elegant, approachable, and unmistakably bold. While Harley-Davidson continues to stumble with the evolution of the Sportster line, Indian has taken that torch and sprinted forward, redefining what riders should expect from a mid-tier cruiser. At the core of the Scout sits an 1133 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin engine that delivers 100 horsepower and 72 pound-feet of torque. This level of performance gives the Scout a real-world punch off the line, whether you're riding around town or opening it up on the highway. It's not just power for bragging rights. It's usable torque, refined delivery, and a sense of responsiveness that makes the Scout a true rider's machine. Mated to a 6-speed transmission, the bike accelerates with smooth aggression, making it feel alive under you without ever being intimidating. The design language of the Scout is minimalistic in all the right ways. Indian kept it stripped down but stopped short of sterile. Every line and contour feels intentional. From the tank to the rear fender, it evokes the silhouette of classic cruisers without becoming a caricature. The styling is sharp and compact, giving it a lower stance and a lean profile that looks fast even when parked. It's one of those rare cruisers that appeals equally to purists and newcomers alike. Forward controls and a relatively low seat height make the ergonomics feel natural. The riding position leans relaxed, but not lazy. Upright enough for control, yet stretched enough for long-distance comfort, the Scout offers a planted riding experience that makes it especially appealing for riders upgrading from a beginner bike. It doesn't try to overpower you, instead, it invites you to push it. When it comes to value, the Scout delivers serious bang for the buck. With a starting price of just over $11,000, it offers high-quality components, iconic styling, and proven reliability without climbing into premium territory. It has become a go-to option for riders who want the Harley experience without the Harley baggage. Let's get into the specs where it really counts. The Scout tips the scales at 561 pounds, making it noticeably lighter than most cruisers in its class, which enhances maneuverability and control at low speeds. For braking, it features a single two-piston caliper with a 298mm disc up front, and a single one-piston caliper with a 298mm disc in the rear. Suspension duties are handled by 41mm telescopic front forks offering 120mm of travel, and dual rear shocks with 76mm of travel, enough to soften rough pavement without turning the bike into a floaty mess. These components come together to create a balanced, confident ride that doesn't punish you on longer trips. Another area where the Scout quietly dominates is build quality. The paintwork is deep and glossy, the fit and finish are precise, and the materials feel premium without becoming overly flashy. Indian is clearly invested in the little things: tight tolerances, sturdy mounts, and switches that don't feel like an afterthought. It's a machine that feels like it's built to last. The Scout may be sleek, but the next bike on this list brings brute power and long-haul comfort Harley just can't match anymore. Number 4. Honda Goldwing. For those who take their long-distance rides seriously, few motorcycles come close to delivering the level of comfort, performance, and refinement found in the Goldwing. This is not just a touring bike. It is a rolling monument to rider-focused engineering. Where Harley-Davidson's touring line has grown dated and bloated, the Goldwing remains sharp, sophisticated, and relentlessly modern. While Harley hangs on to tradition, Honda has quietly perfected what it means to go the distance in style. At the core of the Goldwing is an 1,830 cubic centimeter six-cylinder engine that produces 125 horsepower and 125 pound-feet of torque. The power delivery is smooth and commanding, and when paired with Honda's dual-clutch transmission, it creates a ride quality that feels more like a grand tourer than a typical cruiser. Riders can opt for a manual shift or let the bike handle gear changes on its own, making the ride more flexible depending on mood and traffic conditions. The Goldwing is designed to devour miles. Its low center of gravity, thanks to the horizontally opposed engine, makes this large machine feel far more agile than it looks. Whether weaving through mountain passes or cruising endless highways, the Goldwing offers stability, comfort, and an unmatched sense of command on the road. It manages to be both precise and plush, qualities that are almost never found in the same motorcycle. And compared to Harley's touring bikes, which often require significant aftermarket upgrades to reach a comparable level of comfort, the Goldwing comes ready right off the showroom floor. Riders rave about the Goldwing's ergonomic setup. The seat is sculpted for all-day support, and the passenger accommodations are equally refined. From heated grips and seats to electronically adjustable windscreens, the Goldwing anticipates your needs before you even hit the road. Its ride-by-wire throttle system, selectable ride modes, and integrated navigation keep it years ahead of Harley's boombox interface, which is often criticized for being slow, dated, and unintuitive. In the tech department, Honda goes all in. The Goldwing features a full-color display, Bluetooth connectivity, Apple CarPlay integration, and a premium audio system, all of which feel more like automotive-grade luxuries than traditional motorcycle features. On top of that, cruise control and a reverse gear are standard, not optional extras. It's this kind of attention to detail that reminds riders that Honda is not just building a bike, they're creating a full riding experience. When it comes to the key specifications that matter for editors and riders alike, the Goldwing weighs in at 836 pounds. The suspension setup includes a double wishbone front end that absorbs road imperfections without sacrificing feedback, and a Pro-Link rear shock system with 4 inches of travel. Braking is handled by dual front discs with 6-piston calipers and a single rear disc with a 3-piston caliper, all governed by anti-lock braking technology. Together, this combination provides outstanding stopping power, excellent stability under load, and surprising nimbleness for such a large platform. The base model Goldwing begins at $24,900, placing it near the top of the price range for touring motorcycles. However, considering the level of equipment, reliability, and refinement it delivers out of the gate, many riders see it as a long-term investment that outclasses its rivals. Luxury is one thing, but what if you could ride vintage without the breakdowns? The next contender brings style, simplicity, and shockingly low prices. Number 3. Royal Enfield Classic 350. There's something timeless about a motorcycle that doesn't try too hard. The Royal Enfield Classic 350 manages to tap into a deeply nostalgic vein while offering something rare in today's cruiser market: honesty. This bike doesn't overwhelm you with tech or gimmicks. Instead, it delivers the simplicity and charm of old-school motorcycling with just enough refinement to make it a true everyday ride. At the core of the Classic 350 is Royal Enfield's latest J-Series engine, a single-cylinder, air-cooled motor that produces 20 horsepower and 19 pound-feet of torque. The engine size comes in at 349 cubic centimeters. It may not sound like much on paper, but in real-world use, the Classic 350 is surprisingly capable. Its power delivery is smooth and consistent, making it an ideal choice for city cruising, rural backroads, and relaxed weekend rides. It's not about speed, it's about style and soul. Visually, this machine is a home run. From the gently curved fenders to the old-school pea-shooter exhaust, every line of the Classic 350 whispers of motorcycling's golden years. The circular headlamp, single saddle seat, and chrome accents give the bike an authentic vintage silhouette that would look at home in any garage beside a Harley from the 50s or 60s, except this bike actually starts on the first try and doesn't require you to be a part-time mechanic to keep it running. Royal Enfield has struck a careful balance with the Classic 350. It gives older riders a ticket back in time without the maintenance nightmares, and it gives new riders an approachable, affordable way to connect with the spirit of two wheels. Riders routinely praise the bike's smooth ride quality, refined engine feel, and effortless charm. The real magic, however, comes in the ride. You won't be breaking any land speed records, but you'll be smiling the whole way. The bike's ergonomics are upright and comfortable, encouraging long rides without fatigue. The clutch is light, the throttle response is gentle, and shifting through the 5-speed gearbox is smooth and mechanical. Nothing feels overly assisted or fake. You're connected to the machine in a way modern cruisers often miss entirely. Now let's talk about the hardware that brings it all together. The Classic 350 weighs in at 430 pounds, making it extremely manageable for all rider types. It features a front telescopic fork suspension with 130 millimeters of travel and twin gas-charged shock absorbers at the rear with 6 levels of adjustable preload. The braking setup includes a 300mm disc up front with a twin-piston caliper and a 270mm disc at the rear with a single-piston caliper. The whole system is supported by dual-channel anti-lock braking, ensuring safety doesn't take a back seat to style. In terms of mileage, few bikes on this list even come close. Riders consistently report fuel efficiency between 70 and 90 miles per gallon. That means you're not just riding a good-looking machine, you're saving at the pump and extending every tank into an actual adventure. This level of fuel economy is nearly unheard of in the cruiser segment. As for price, the Classic 350 starts at $4,649, making it one of the most affordable bikes in this entire countdown. That's a serious value when you consider the build quality, fuel efficiency, and overall experience Royal Enfield is offering. Royal Enfield is winning the retro war, but this next brand is playing Harley's game and beating them at it with their own playbook. Number 2. Indian Chief Dark Horse. This next machine doesn't whisper performance, it growls it. A brooding presence on the road with real muscle behind the posture, this bike delivers exactly what older Harley-Davidson riders used to expect from a big twin cruiser, only this time it's coming from Indian. And that's precisely why Harley-Davidson dealerships are feeling the heat. Sitting beneath that stripped-down tank and deep-sculpted frame is a powerhouse engine, the Thunderstroke 1164 cubic centimeter V-twin. This engine puts out 120 pound-feet of torque in roughly 100 horsepower, which means the chief dark horse isn't just about looks. It pulls hard, feels solid under throttle, and delivers that low-end grunt that riders crave from an American cruiser. Unlike some competitors that lean too hard into electronics or weighty add-ons, this one stays true to the raw riding experience. The ride position feels instinctual. Tall bars, mid-mounted pegs, and a low-profile solo seat create a riding triangle that feels custom-fit for cruising long, open roads. It's the kind of bike that feels like an extension of your body the moment you throw a leg over it. That's partly due to the stripped-down aesthetic, but mostly thanks to smart engineering and chassis tuning. In the looks department, this bike speaks directly to the old-school soul of motorcycle culture. The finish is matte black, accented with subtle gloss and dark chrome elements. It's intimidating but refined. Indian didn't over-design it. They let the lines and silhouette do the talking. There are no exaggerated curves or bloated fenders. Instead, you get straight-line aggression wrapped in a classic shell. The minimal digital display tucks neatly into the console, offering the essential metrics without looking like a smart tablet. The stripped-back vibe is exactly what appeals to riders who want authenticity over abstraction. There's also keyless ignition, cruise control, and selectable ride modes, giving you just enough modern tech without it getting in the way of the ride. From a technical standpoint, the chief dark horse weighs in at 661 pounds, which is surprisingly manageable given the bike's engine size and presence. Braking is handled by dual 4-piston calipers up front with 300mm rotors and a 2-piston rear caliper delivering strong stopping power and controlled deceleration. The suspension features a 130mm telescopic fork in the front and a 100mm hidden rear monoshock, which keeps the rear end clean while smoothing out bumps during long-distance cruising, where Harley's big twins have started to feel bloated and overly softened by corporate design committees. Indian has kept the soul intact. The chief dark horse doesn't just look tough, it feels tough. It's got attitude without being arrogant and simplicity without sacrificing modern standards. Riders who once identified deeply with Harley-Davidson's big twin models are starting to migrate, not because they've changed, but because Harley has. With a starting price of $18,999, this motorcycle delivers real performance and true American styling at a competitive level. It's not trying to imitate Harley. It's offering what Harley used to before the brand drifted into complexity and corporate detachment. But none of this matters if you can't get new riders in the saddle. The next motorcycle on this list, it's not just a bike, it's a movement. Number 1. Royal Enfield Meteor 350. There was a time when every new rider started on something light, simple, and memorable. That era is returning, and leading the charge is the Royal Enfield Meteor 350. It may not have the brute power of a big cruiser or the prestige of a legacy American badge, but what it does have is the soul of motorcycling at its purest. This is not a bike trying to impress you with gimmicks or muscle. It is trying to make you fall in love with the road, just like your first ride did. The Meteor 350 is equipped with a single-cylinder 4-stroke engine that delivers 20 horsepower and 20 pound-feet of torque. It comes in at 349 cubic centimeters. That may sound modest, but the magic of this bike lies in its balance and smoothness. The power band is predictable, linear, and friendly for new riders, yet still capable enough for everyday commuting and weekend rides alike. Paired with a 5-speed gearbox and electronic fuel injection, the Meteor is easy to ride and surprisingly refined. Unlike Harley-Davidson, which has largely abandoned entry-level riders, Royal Enfield has leaned in hard. They know there's a massive global audience looking for a cruiser that's affordable, approachable, and emotionally satisfying. And they've delivered it in the form of a motorcycle that doesn't feel like a compromise. It feels like a return to what motorcycling used to be. About freedom, about simplicity, about soul. The look of the Meteor is another huge win. With a teardrop tank, classic round headlamp chrome accents, and a traditional cruiser stance, It ticks all the boxes of vintage-inspired design without feeling stale. The proportions are right, the paint options are thoughtful, and the finish quality is surprisingly strong for a motorcycle in this price range. It's the kind of bike that invites admiration at gas stations, and questions like, "Is that new or vintage?" are not uncommon. But make no mistake, this motorcycle is thoroughly modern where it counts. It features a digital analog instrument cluster with Royal Enfield's Tripper navigation pod powered by Google Maps. The ride-by-wire throttle ensures smoother response, and the chassis, developed with extensive input from Royal Enfield's UK Technology Centre, delivers confidence through every corner. You feel planted, not punished. As for the practical hardware specs, the Meteor 350 weighs 421 pounds. It uses a set of telescopic front forks with 130 millimeters of travel and twin-tube emulsion shock absorbers in the rear, with 6-step adjustable preload and 90 millimeters of travel. Braking is handled by a 300 millimeter front disc, with a twin-piston floating caliper, and a rear 270 millimeter disc with a single-piston floating caliper. Dual-channel anti-lock braking system comes standard. These components come together to give the Meteor a smooth, controlled ride that's incredibly forgiving, even on rougher surfaces or long rides. The Meteor 350 starts at $4,699, making it one of the most budget-friendly cruisers on the market today. And for that price, what you're really getting is access. Access to the lifestyle, to the passion, to the brotherhood of motorcycling that Harley once championed, but now seems too preoccupied to acknowledge. So while Harley keeps aiming higher and missing the mark, these 7 bikes are quietly building the future of riding. And Harley might not be part of it.